주만 비 줄레르드 에츠라쩌투 두시세시 온스위 에조
Alright, and with that, hello, and welcome to Let's Play Gravity Rush. But actually, before we get started with too much here, let's turn that off, because, no. So, Gravity Rush. There's like a 50-50 chance you might have heard of this before. Good chance if you follow me, you've probably seen me say the phrase, Sony fucking slept on this several times, probably. Yeah, I guess saying a game is, like, underrated or overlooked is kind of like not really saying a whole lot, but in this case, like, Sony just kind of didn't even really try with this series a lot. They got, the first game was a Vita exclusive, at least originally. Obviously it's not now by virtue of me playing it. But it did get a PS4 release, eventually. The physical release was exclusive to Amazon, and otherwise it was digital only. And yeah, it was kind of just treated as like a nothing release in a lot of ways, for some reason. Oh well. And then the sequel came out, and they didn't market it at all and released it in a very busy time frame, and then nobody played it. But yeah, that sucks, but I still really like this game a lot. It's not like a super polished game or anything, but it's a very unique kind of game in a lot of ways, as you'll get into later. I guess I should mention this is the PS4 version. It's I don't want to say it's a bare bones port, since they do a lot to like adapt the game to consoles. And, you know, they get it running a lot smoother than it did on handheld, of course. But there's only really so much you can do to polish a Vita game up. And they didn't really, like, update any of the character models or anything, so everything looks very low budget in some ways. Like, the character models look really weird. Weirdly, the environmental design actually holds up a lot better than you'd expect. But, you know. Also, this game has motion aiming, so you're gonna see my shaky hands in action. Alright, so here's where the big mechanic of this game comes into play. With this very space-time looking cat over here. So, the central gimmick of Gravity Rush is our character, her name isn't explained just yet. In fact, she doesn't even have a name in canon yet. At least not one she knows about. But her name is Kat. It eventually gets given to her. Like, we'll probably see that happen in the next video or later on in this one. I don't remember exactly when, but it's really early on. Yeah, she is what is in this universe called a gravity shifter, and what that means is what you're seeing right now isn't exactly her flying. Basically, what's happening is she can in some ways control the gravitational pull of the immediate area around her. So it's literally falling with style, basically. And here's how you control that in game world. So yeah. You do need to use the DualShock gyro for this. You can also use the right analog stick, and I think you can completely disable it by just, or you can completely disable the gyro controls just by turning the sensitivity on it all the way down. In fact, I usually turn the motion sensor down just a little bit. Just because it's a little bit too sensitive for my shaky-ass hands, and turn the camera sensitivity up a little bit too. That should be good. But yeah, that central mechanic is what's going to be carrying in this game in a lot of ways. Luckily enough, it's a fun enough mechanic to where it actually does do just that. At least in my honest opinion. I'd like to be able to say the unique gameplay mechanics are what sold me on this game, but I mean, I could say, well, yeah, it's kind of cute, but that's not entirely what it was. Basically, like, what sold me on the game more than anything, or at least what got me interested in it, was just, what's happening here? Yeah, that didn't seem right. But I guess what got me interested more than anything is A lot of games don't really have particularly interesting box art, and at least the original version of Gravity Rush has a very unique looking box to it. It's like, it tells you more or less everything you need to know, but it has just the little aura of mystique it needs to be just a little bit compelling. And it looks nice on a shelf, so, yeah. The different box art they have for the remastered version also looks kind of nice, but, you know, that's not what drew me to the game, and because that version was exclusive to Amazon, I doubt it's going to drive anyone to get that either. Especially after it first came out, because, yeah, the physical version I have here goes for quite a lot now. I think it was like 80 last I checked, and that was on the lower end of how much I've seen it go for. But yeah. That's a whole lot of words to say, not a whole lot. Anyway, this game's fun. This was basically just the tutorial part. Although we're not done with the tutorial just yet, we're just done with this small little opening bit. So there's another, I guess, central plot point in a way. Like, if there's one thing I will say is kind of a negative about this game, is that the story is kind of confusingly told. It's kind of told like if you're reading an archive of, like, pirated, like, translations of Japanese comics that are just missing several chapters at just random points. That's like the one thing I can really complain about, though. For me personally, anyway. Because, yeah, the game is a bit jank in a lot of ways, but that's never really bothered me.
La suis m'achevé, et je crois plus affiché de wansi. Pla jujudu, plan chabiment dressa point chafé. De blessema, l'ouetterie, chaplain tout le savait.